So we move on to high background. So if you have high background, it's usually from excess of antibody or autofluorescence maybe, or from non-specific binding. So for this, you need to do the opposite in a way. So you need to reduce the antibody concentration. Make sure you're incubating overnight at 4 degrees. Ensure that you're including wash steps. Wash 3 to 4 times for 5 minutes at each wash step. And make sure you include a mild detergent like 0.2% between in the wash buffer and antibody dilution buffer. Again, you want to check that you have the correct culture conditions and that the cells were not overconfluent. Ensure there's permeabilization if it's cytoplasmic or nuclear target. That sounds quite counterintuitive, but I have found from my own experience and experience of our customers that if permeabilization isn't done when it's required, perhaps for a nuclear target, for example, that you don't get no staining. You may actually get a lot of excess staining for some reason. So just make sure you permeabilize if you need to. Again, you could check the secondary antibody, make sure that's not binding non-specifically by including a no primary control. Sometimes aggregates of the conjugated secondary antibody can give a sort of speckled appearance within the sample. So you can mix the antibody well before you use. If you want to, you could even filter the antibody solution before you use it if necessary. Some cells are quite autofluorescent. You may want to check the literature for this, but they may also be autofluorescent only at a certain wavelength. So if you choose a different conjugate and view it at a different wavelength, you may find that you correct that problem. Some cell culture matrix components and proteins, again, can be quite autofluorescent. And again, perhaps you could change the conjugate that you're using to view at a different wavelength.